They can't be running around in different directions. They have to play as a sound unit.
Yep, it's got to be tight formations all across the board. But then again, we might see a side of NIP Flash that they've been hiding all of this time. Now, first off, let's see who's going to be first pick.
He wants it for himself, so not going to deal with it.
Possibly. I mean, it could be just like a hard read, but at the same time, it's in the ban section, right? Especially within the first phase, it's still adjustable. They can still talk about it, and there's plenty of time to do so for the side of NIP Flash. I still feel like they're going to go with the high loss first pick once again. It's still really flexible for them. Diablo performs well on it overall. They've already committed at least 2 bans to the EXP sector, so makes sense, right?
Yeah, but if NIP Flash goes for that high-low pickup, then SRG will have free range on this Bruno, which could definitely be a threat alongside the Suyo if they do want to go that route as well. And it looks like they are going to go in for the Cho.
Push into a corner, a lot of teams like to default to comfort picks.
Yeah, and again, we were talking about his show, definitely a little bit more proactive. And I feel like so far, a lot of junglers really don't like this pick because more often than not, they will get kicked. Either Suyo, either the Joy, any kind of close range will get caught. SRG, they have the option. They didn't go for it for the second game. But this time they're taking it. They're taking the Bruno and they're taking the Joy as well.
They don't mind the Suyo actually going over to the side of NIP Flash, right? Because Suyo only does well against the Joy when you find that initial lead, when you have that level lead and you keep on oppressing it. It's the same thing for when Alpha is played into the Suyo. Alpha just needs to maintain his farm, invade every once in a while because he knows he can win the 1v1, and then once Suyo gets like maybe 3-4 items, that's when you have to be a little bit more concerned.
So do we see the Hylos come out here? Because if not, it can be picked up from SRG, which would be a very strong draft to have to go against. Now with this Cho on the side of NIP Flash, now they have the path of isolation to be able to separate and create some chaos in these engagements. We are going to go ahead and see the Farza picked up alongside the Granger.
Right, long range, they've got artillery, ways to burst down their targets, especially with the way the Dragon, if it kicks their targets into the right direction, that target is going to blow up. Now, I'm curious to see how SRG is going to respond to this, right? Now that they see the mid lane early on, technically they can lock their own mid laner early on as well. Do they want to play more fluid, or do they want to play standard where it's box of influence, let's keep it in here?
You know what my wish list is? Pick up the Suyo, just put Joy in mid.
The Stormy Joy? You know what?
Right?
The last time...
Think about that.
You know when Stormy was on SMG and decided to play Julian mid? That's when I'm like, whatever he picks, I'm never doubting it again.
He picks Hellcrit me and it works out.
We've got way more examples, but we're not going to go down the list. Here we go. It's going to be Yator Gacha for that third pick. Interesting. A flex that's able to taunt their targets, but at least threaten the Farsa's.
Oh yeah, Farsa's not going to have a good time. Like that Farsa pick might be a little bit early because it's not just the Gata, it's the Joy as well.
So they could ban out the Valentina, not for the side of SRG, but for the side of NIP Flash. Or the Eve, if you want to stop them from having artillery to rain back against you. But they do have some answers. I mean, with the Cho, it's a good way to get to that back line. So we'll have to see which way this goes. Could even take out this Hylos, which is still able to be picked up from the side of NIP Flash. We know how well Diablo can thrive on it.
Gentlemen, quick question here. We're going up against a Granger as well as the Farsa. Quick long range here. Do you fight fire with fire by having more range as well? Something like the Xavier, something like the Novaria, maybe even a Veil. Veil has pretty long range as well. Or do you just go the opposite route? You know what? We're going full dive. So having a mid laner, something like a Lilia, a Kadita, something that can really harass the Farsa. Right? You have 2 ways to answer the same question.
I agree with you. There are 2 ways with it, but some more effective than others. I would say the long range route is probably the safest bet. The only issue with that is that a lot of our long range, like whether it be marksmen or even like mid laners, need a lot of time to get to that dangerous point, right? You have to play such a controlled early to mid game, which so far, based on what we've been seeing from SRG, fits more towards their style since the early game hasn't usually gone in their favor in these past 2 matches.
I would say go range against range, just due to, we already know when it comes to SRG fighting in these engagements, they try and find a way to disrupt NIP Flash and make them separate. So if they can even out the playing field with range, then that's an element that NIP Flash does not have over them.
Good ban, by the way.
Very good bans. From both sides, really. I mean, Zarate is just looking towards the EXP side. If we do want to pick up the Hylos or something tanky, then at least we've got rid of majority of the counter matchups. Arcadia is like, we want Joyce to play the game. Let's get rid of what this early game Suyo has been giving us a lot of problems with, and also in the counter matchup of Fredrin to keep her in place.
Yeah, the Fredrin definitely a wise decision on that Joy. Now, I mean, it could be that Joy in the mid lane that you're hoping for, though. I mean, it's not too far out of the ballpark. We have seen it, actually. Yep. Team Spirit is the one that pulled that out with Sunset Lover, so maybe seeing SRG have the same pick on their side could work in their favor and catch somebody like NIP Flash off guard. It's not the worst thing, considering you can get back to the Farza, and then you also have a lot of pills, so we'll have to see which way this goes. Nonetheless, we're still looking for the jungler for the side of SRG as well. You know, a Hayabusa could actually... No, actually...
No, let's just see if the Joy is jungle.
Yeah,
but
Joy's
you know,
jungle.
it'll be interesting if it does go mid.
I don't know. I saw a bit of a smirk coming in from Stormy. I was hoping he was telling his coach, like, hey,
guys want some
man, the
Hello Panda?
Valentina's banned out, so you gotta give me the Joy, right?
See, the bull helps, right?
Huh?
No, I'm just offering the casters Hello Panda. See, the bull helps.
The bull does help. All right, Vixana's already locked in, but now they're finishing up with a Benedetta as well as a Guinevere.
Oh, Benedetta!
What a wild draft this has been.
Finally! Right, I feel like Diablo has been itching to bring this out.
For sure, for sure. I don't know if he's going to go full damage on this one. Probably not. I would assume that he's going to go tank Custom Blast into Revitalize like he usually does. But let's see how SRG responds. Now that there's so much mobility and the fact that NIP Flash want to be the ones who are more fluid rather than playing a standard front-to-back game.
Oh, man, looking at what's left, I mean, do you go the Hylos here?
Wait, by the way, this is Guinevere jungle, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I mean, Hades has brought it out before, if I'm not mistaken. So this is going to be very interesting. SRG, last pick. Do we want fire, have with damage, EXP later as well? The Kufra, we have not seen the Kufra.
Well played.
Use Kufra for a very long time.
God,
He said, if you want to go crazy, let's go crazy. Oh, Petrify! Diablo wants to go damage!
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
I love it, I love it. Gone
Okay.
are the days of Revitalized Concussive Blast Benedetta. It's Diablo time.
And it's a Guinevere jungle, actually, that Hades is going to pull off against SRG. But what a way to close out the draft by bringing out Yumes on that iconic Kufra up against this lineup with a endless amount of blink skills
Oh, yeah.
in their hands.
Man, I'm just super hyped for this matchup. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Land of Dawn. This is an elimination game. Match point for SRG. One loss here means Nip Flash will be eliminated from the M6 World Championship. And SRG say, yeah, let's go with it. Kufra. I love the Kufra pick for Yums.
I mean, I like the way they're trying to approach this because, like, for 2 games in a row, Cram has been insane in terms of applying the pressure. But on this Benedetta, Diablo might be able to go toe-to-toe up against Cram in the lane and in terms of how he's able to rotate faster out of the EXP lane. But again, that doesn't eliminate the fact that Curtese will still have to face a lot of problems one way or another. On this Farsa, you'd have to be mindful of the Avatar of the Guardian as well as the Joy, as mentioned by our panelists earlier. So if he had a hard time trying to use the Feathered Airstrike with just the Hilda in the hands of SRG, now it's not just the Hilda actually. It's a lot more than that. Even the Kufra, I think, you'd have to consider that too.
JPL gonna walk up with Jikundo. Let's see if he actually gets a stun down. Sky should be able to retrieve this, and yes, he does. Just dancing around JPL. Jones is charging. Diablo clearing out the wave. Yeah, doing really well in the lane so far.
Yep, I think that's one of the biggest adjustments that we're seeing from NIP Flash in terms of heading into this game. And another is that Curtese would want to probably play this a little bit more safely. He picks up the Purify, but then that Spatial Migration does not connect. So in terms of survivability, I feel like NIP Flash, they have a lot more ways to deal with that. But then they have to still be careful. The element of surprise still remains for SRG.
Okay, let's see. Spatial Migration and Violet Requiem in towards the final blow. Diablo claiming first blood. Sky's petrified. Electrified Beat still coming down though. Let's get the Retreat battle here. Hades will claim it. Sky's forced back. JPL walking up. Cram might be caught here. Jikundo, Way the Dragon, locking him down. Hades claims the kill. Just like in game number 1 and 2. Nip Flash start off strong.
I mean, I think they're trying to approach this in such a way that since our XP laner is able to be a lot more aggressive compared to the first 2 games, they're able to set things up. They're able to force out those skills which would ideally be the ones to cancel out and disrupt NIP Flash from doing the type of teamfight that they want, which is what we've seen earlier. Diablo just went in, forced out the early Avatar of the Guardian from Cram, and that was the signal for Curtese that he could just use that Feathered Airstrike, control the area near that Turtle Pit, and then NIP Flash, they were able to take that objective successfully for themselves. But we'll see how SRG adjusts from this point onwards, because still, I mean, they still have the Bruno, and they have a lot of ways to counter-engage if it's just that.
Definitely. It doesn't seem like... At least in this game, it's a bit different, right? You can actually see that Vanix is bullying Innocent in the gold lane with the Granger up against the Bruno. This is something that I don't think we've seen in game 1 and 2. Innocent has been playing it really, really well, and previously he was the one who was winning in the matchup. So Nipflash have so many more ways to actually, you know, drop down some kill pressure if they want to play around the bottom lane.
Yep.
Should be okay too. Up until Innocent gets the Haas claws, at least. That's when he can actually finally stabilize in this gold lane.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
still though. Yeah.
but at least so far though, it's more of river control for NIP Flash and rotating towards the EXP lane. Oh, look at Diablo once again. Speaking of EXP lane, that's nearly a 1v3 that he actually engaged in. But even Hades, looking at the rotation so far, it seems like they just really want to establish control in that lane so that they're able to focus a lot more of the resources towards the important or the key heroes that they have, specifically Vanix. Although he's managing it pretty well alone here in the bottom lane. Still Sekai's though, he's here as well. So let's see what happens. Oh wait, Cram!
Oh, gonna be assassinated. Hades finds it. JPL 2 gets away the dragon. Diablo gonna be terrified down. Skies will be able. Wait.
He caught the kill on the Vanix.
Okay, yeah, I was like, whoa. That was an assassination as well.
Oh no.
Sandra's Revenge and the Rage over to JPL. Only JPL. This should be a free one for NIP Flash. Eternal Guard. JPL, oh, actually able to escape. Diablo jumping in forward, getting the kill now. Hades doing the same thing. Cortese gonna be kind of the electrifying beast, but can just fly.
Hands. Although SRG, they're able to find their way to Vanix, which I don't think is that much of a good sign, but at least for them. Oh no, and speaking of, they're really trying to focus down on Vanix right now.
Yeah.
So if NIP Flash, they're operating kind of well in terms of other areas in the map, Vanix is starting to have quite a rough time in his gold lane.
Yeah, as much of a rough time as Stormy, I think, right? I mean, every time he walks up, he's gonna have to be double, triple, quadruple careful. Because of Diablo, he can actually he can one-shot Vexana at this point. Diablo's actually reading this really well. SRG have a hold there, and Diablo's not going for it. He's actually just
I mean
buying time and like zoning them away from Hades.
Yeah, he knows it. The eye indicator and all that. They're definitely just trying to read into where they're possibly positioned, but Diablo takes the long cut. He's just really being careful on this now that SRG probably has their eyes set on Diablo. And speaking of, that's the electrifying beast already used by Sekai's.
Okay, doesn't get the spatial migration. Even the final blow utilized by Diablo. You can see how much trust he had in Hades hitting that skill, but unfortunately for them, Skies is too slick with it.
Yeah. So we're waiting for the next potential objective, but Cram is waiting here in the Riverside. So they're just really doing well in terms of scouting each member out. Cortese uses the wing by wings. So it's just like SRG, they're able to get their turret, the tier 1 turret down quadra, but Stormy, oh no, you said being quadruple careful. But I don't think he was able to foresee that.
I think he might have to do more than quadruple careful. Spatial migration on top of the fact that there's a final blow. Petrify, and yeah, I think the flicker choice might have been a bit too much of a gamble here. Times of Edge and the Rage. JPL with a shot. Who gets away? Sky's dealing the damage. Worldy and the crit from Innocent. Hades picks up the turtle though, and Diablo will be able to trade it with a turret up top.
My goodness, 2 objectives in exchange for JPL. I think that's a really good trade for NIP Flash. They get a turret as well as their 3rd consecutive turtle, which explains also why we're seeing this much of gold lead in their hands. And I mean, if you were SRG, this entire Quidivir jungle, it must have really caught them off guard. I don't think Yumes has been able to really pull off that perfect Tyrant's Rage Revenge combo, but speaking of Yumes, oh, he's very, very low, but JPL gets bursted down first.
AOG into the back, Diablo! What a set, what a petrify! Beautifully done!
Diablo! Just did the clutch plays on the Benedetta. Sekai's though trying to look for the trade, and he will be able to get Vanix. Hades will be punishing him though, and that's the monster kill for Diablo.
Whoa, all right. Maybe that's a bit too crazy. Mr. Diablo has to wait for the final blow at least before you want to dive into Stormy. Man, Diablo on the Benedetta. This is why, I mean, at least in MSC 2023, do you remember how much respect was placed onto his comfort picks? His badonkadonk. I remember. If he starts badonging, this might be a tough one.
Yeah.
Diablo gets out with the final blow too.
Yeah. And I think SRG, they're struggling to find the perfect timings to layer their skills appropriately up against the targets that Yums eventually finds across the map. I mean, even if Yums gets to jump on a member from NIP Flash, Stormy, I think he'd be thinking twice about trying to go in, but this is the perfect target though. That's JPL, that's all alone. Separated from all the members of NIP Flash.
Uh-oh. Hades trying to catch him. Feather airstrike over to Cram. The burst not enough, but Diablo's coming in. He's godlike. Gets the kill. 1 for 1. Cram for JPL.
Diablo's been coming in at the perfect timings on this
Diablo.
Benedetta. And this is probably why you should really learn how to respect. I mean, there have been a lot of adjustments from NIP Flash, that's for sure. They've been sticking with the high lows. They've been sticking with the CC for Diablo. But this is an entirely different version of NIP Flash. This is them playing where they're comfortable playing. And Yums, oh no, he connects onto Hades. But will they be able to burst him down? Oh no, Diablo once again!
Oh, he got shut down by Innocent though! JP on the back, over for the Major Dragon. Hades with the retry win. Yums, spatial migration catching onto him. JPL falling. That was a big shutdown that Innocent picked up.
I can only imagine the bounty. I can only imagine the bounty that went into the hands of Innocent, but still NIP Flash, they got their hands on the Lord. So they will be able to maintain the control over the map. But Innocent is slowly starting to join in the team fights. The Lord will be immediately taken care of by Sekais as well. But they ought to be careful. If earlier Diablo could just be as aggressive as he wants to be, right now SRG, they're having enough damage to deal with him.
How much gold was that? Wait, he's 8.6k.
Oh my god.
He's 1,000 gold ahead. How much gold did he get? I really wonder. But on the other side, wow, Diablo, 3,000 gold? Ahead of the Gato Kacha.
That's insane. That's a high amount of damage that you could expect from this Benedetta. If we were to recall the emblems that he went for earlier, it's the Fighter emblem together with the Master Assassin and a bit of Concussive Blast as well. So you could expect him to really dish out the damage, but an eye for an eye. That was close for Diablo.
Oh, Yums, Tarnish Revenge, just find Rage. Guys, trying to go for the flank earlier for the airstrike. Will be able to zone them away with the Death Sonata. Okay, NIP Flash, get away. Man, that was close. Guys almost got Diablo while he was recalling.
Yeah, and that is precisely why we've been saying that SRG, once they're able to pick up all their items, once they're able to group up, that's a completely different story. Diablo has to be a little bit more careful in terms of the heroes that he wants to look out for against SRG. Innocent at this point, he's only lacking one more item and is currently leading in terms of gold ranking, but Hades, oh, he finds the target!
Oh, just into the final blow. Cram has the AUG out of there. Diablo didn't even use any, he just final blow. That was the final blow damage. Oh my lord.
At least for NIP Flash, they're really able to provide the follow-ups. That's something we're yet to see from SRG, especially if they're grouped up together.
Wow.
The most they can do is just really look out for those targets that are isolated, but checking out the damage dealt ranking, you have to look at Diablo and the amount of damage he's dealt in this game.
Diablo, every time he gets a signature pick, man, he always finds ways to get highlights. In a world tournament, international tournament, MSC was the Badang, M6 might just be the time for his Benedetta.
And imagine, it's not like Curtizi's having that much of a hard time. Even up against this kind of lineup, even up against the Joy, I think Sekais has been trying to look for the angle since earlier to just hunt down Curtizi. But since they have these much turrets left, but since they have this much control left, they're not able to pull off exactly that. But oh wait!
Counter advantage to the Rage. Eternal Guard catching JPL. Was that actually Skies? Oh! Finds it! Final blow coming down. Great revitalize. That's an eye for an eye from Diablo in his head! JPL though. Oh no, that's Hades with the spatial migration. The Violent Requiem. The damage not enough to take anyone down. Vanix against the world. 4v2. Innocent wants some smoke. Dashes forward. That was 3 for 1. Oh! That's a shot down from Vanix.
And I can't believe we're seeing some sort of a replay from game number 1 and 2. How NIP Flash were just in the lead, but suddenly a single pickoff, a single play turns things around. And earlier that particular play was Sekais being able to hunt down Curtizi. Once they lost that damage, that additional layer of damage, Selangor and Giants, they were just able to go in. But now that they're back, they'll have to defend this because SRG, they were able to secure the Lord.
This is very dangerous now for NIP Flash. The early lead that they got, the 12 minutes of gameplay,
Yeah.
it disappeared just with one fight. Again, SRG take full control. Sky's
no.
electrifying beats. It's gonna be the stun overdose. Sky's very low. Now Diablo chasing him. Oh my lord! JPL shuts him down. Skies will be slain in the bottom lane. Innocent, though, will not stay idly by. He will be active, making quick work of the tier 2.
In exchange of that kill on Sekai's, they might just bid farewell to all the remaining inner turrets. Diablo, will he be able to go home? Oh no, he gets spotted by Stormy! But will he engage in this? He's alone, not anymore though. Cram is also here, Avatar the Guardian!
Let's see, Diablo. How do you get away from this one? That's a conceal! Petrify! Diablo going forward as Stormy taken down. Yums with the time revenge and the range finding him. Innocent in the back, still being able to free hit Hades. Still caught on the damage. Hades getting away with the spatial migration. That's a good shot over to Innocent by Cortese. Lord still alive. Hades walking back. Phoenix trying to clear it as fast as possible. And they will be able to defend against it. Oh man, the turn from Diablo.
Them deciding to engage in that fight probably cost them all the remaining all the remaining inner turrets. But that was okay, I feel, for NIP Flash. It felt like them really showing that they were still in the game. They'd still be ready to take on SRG if they too commit just one single mistake. Now looking at the items, both of the gold laners already have their hands on their complete builds. And Scram is slowly catching up too. So the sustain is gradually being there for SRG. Also picks up the Antique Cuirass. So now they will probably be a bit more confident to engage in the fights, even with the presence of a complete 5-man lineup for NIP Flash.
Great reaction there from JPL. Actually, Shun-pooing out of the Tire's Revenge from Yums. But NIP Flash, they are far away from getting that lead back, I feel. You know, SRG, their composition does really well in the later stage of the game with the Joy, Bruno, Innocent, and Skies. They should be online to do whatever they want in the fights. And I mean, to be fair, for Innocent, we've already seen it.
Yep. So they get to use the Magic Sentry, find the other members of SRG, but Yums will be charging, doesn't connect onto JPL. But this is becoming tricky for NIP Flash.
Definitely. And Diablo doesn't even have enough damage to threaten Skies if he dives in. Like previously, Skies couldn't jump in because once you get petrified, you're technically almost dead, right? Now Skies is pretty chill with it. Every time he actually jumps in, I don't think there's enough damage with the Petrify and the Phantom Slash to really threaten him.
Yeah, especially if he gets to dance around all those bullets from Vanix. But it seems like the bullets now are primarily being used to poke down crucial members of SRG. This is the Lord Dance that we're watching for NIP Flash and SRG. It seems like NIP Flash are actually in control of the Lord Pit, but SRG, they have a lot of range, so they can engage whenever they do want to go for it. But Diablo!
Diablo gets the assassination! JPL caught in the midst of it all. Stormy gets a Curse Blast. Vanix shooting them down with the Death Sonata. Eye for an eye from Diablo. Innocent takes him down, though. 2 for 1. It started up with Skies taken out, and now it's SRG with the winning team fight.
That was an important pickoff. That was one of the probable game changers that NIP Flash could have done. Courtesy of Diablo taking out Sekai's. Oh no, but then SRG, they still want to go for it. They take out Hades too.
That's a win of nature from Innocent. That's a bit more info, but I think SRG are very happy to trade info for a free Lord. Hades is down for 30 seconds. Innocent can very easily just solo this. And NIP Flash, now they're going to have to defend another Lord.
This has been such an unexpected turn of events. From the Lord Dance, to the way Diablo took out Sekai, to the way SRG took out Hades. You would have thought it was already the ideal scenario for NIP Flash, but now once again, they will have to defend, and this time, only with their base turrets remaining. They have the range, they have the wave clear. This is still the Benedetta we're talking about, but once you use up all those crucial resources, SRG, I feel like they won't think twice of going in.
That's a 2,000 gold lead that Innocent has over Vanix. At this point, the gold lead doesn't really matter for the gold laners. It'll just be item swaps, right? But still, Innocent is holding on to that gold lead. Same goes for Diablo. It'll just be item swaps now that we are waiting for. He's already on the way to the Rose Gold Meteor. SRG, 4,300 gold ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, Sakai, he also has his hands on the Winter Crown right now, so he can either go in, force a reaction from NIP Flash, and the electrifying beats, it will still be casted anyway. So NIP Flash, they have to be careful for that, but Cram and Diablo, they have a world of their own in the top lane.
That's an island right there. Up top, it's an island. It's the XP lane island. Yoms. Oh, great cancel with the Eternal Guard there.
Okay.
So spatial migration earlier. 2 base turrets down. Diablo still in a 1v1 up top in this island. Uh-oh. He's going to bring some friends in. Diablo caught by the AOG. Cram might just be going for this 1v1.
Okay, they're chasing
Diablo.
after him.
Uh-oh.
Sakai!
Eye for an eye! Goodbye! Good night, Diablo. Skies takes him down. The honorable 1v1 wasn't so honorable.
And that was a call for a friend. They literally had to respond. But props to what Diablo did. They were able to save at least 1 base turret for NIP Flash. But this is the only remaining base turret. SRG after I said it, but he jumps on the
2-man special migration, but in the back again. Way the dragon, lock the Skies down. That's an immortality by 4 Skies. Let's see what he can do with it. Bites the Winter Crown or just uses it here. Escapes from the clutches of NIP Flash. Yums turns bench and the Rage Flicker out. Innocent still free, hitting Vanix very low. AOG coming down as well. That's a cancel spatial migration. Selangor Red Giants, clean sweep. NIP Flash to continue their road in the lower brackets.
The Red Giants are here to stay. Still hungry for that title and that year for Golden Road. A clean sweep delivered to us by the proud Giants of Malaysia.
And with this, SRG will continue in the lower brackets, but for NIP Flash, it is GG, well played. NIP Flash will be eliminated from the M6 World Championship after getting through the grueling Swiss stage.
It was a closer fight than the first 2, but we'll have to say farewell for now. Let's throw it over back to our panel.
Have a worldie.
I think this is one of those situations where he's
Really through the crits. It's a little possible, it feels a little impossible to deal with, but then just watch how this match actually plays out, right? There were definitely moments where Innocent just, again, teams need to check these bushes. They fall into the trap of getting one-shot by Hades a majority of the time, and we can see that the struggle for power continued not only from early game, but even towards mid-game with everybody looking for each other's back lines.
Let me just say one interesting fact about Innocent. I have no idea how he uses his Bruno and how he manages his mana. Because we've seen 2 emblem choices for the Bruno. Either the Assassin emblem or the basic emblem. And if you go for the Assassin emblem, usually go for Demon Boots so that you have that mana sustain. Innocent doesn't do either. So I have no idea how he really manages his mana to make sure that in lane he's fine and then in team fight he's fine.
He just never slide tackles until he has to and never uses his first skill. Just always pick it up.
Very
Always
decisive.
Very decisive with the way he needs to be. But as his game continues to progress, we definitely saw that even though Benedetta, full damage, we don't get to see it very often, made huge impact in this game.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big problems for NIP Flash was just the separation caused by SRG. Whether that was Humes doing it or Cram, it definitely was very hard to deal with. Even when they had a hero that Diablo specialized on, like that Benedetta, to be able to match that mobility, they even had to throw a Cho into the mix, and it still was a challenge. Overall, an amazing series, though, and a great victory for SRG to remain in the M Series.
Yeah, and with that being said,